It's great to be here with all of you at the NGA summer meeting, and hopefully sometime soon we can do this again in person. Since this task force was created about 6 months ago, we have accomplished a lot together. We've created a national vision for workforce development that we will discuss in just a moment. We successfully lobbied the Biden administration to create a federal task force focused on reducing and proactively stopping fraud attacks on our unemployment insurance systems across the country, which is so crucial because in our neck of the woods in a year, we normally distribute about $8 million in unemployment. Last year, from March to March, we distributed some $132 million in unemployment insurance, some 15 times what is normal. And I know systems across the country have been dealing with this and trying to keep account of the money. We also launched this summer learning collaborative with the U.S. Department of Education to ensure that families, students, and schools have the resources this summer to address lost learning time caused by COVID-19 and school closures. Here in the territory, we initiated the summer program as the Summer of Literacy and Learning. And doing that, we dedicated about $1.5 million to each of our community foundations in our districts to give nonprofits and other educational entities the ability to apply for grants and work on students who need that extra tutorial, whether it's numeracy or literacy, and also to give them some exposure as they've been locked away for the last year, to allow them to mix our beautiful islands experience with learning to help improve their grades. We work with Congress to get fiscal flexibility for requirements in the education sections of the American Rescue Plan Act. That money represents unprecedented money to our state education programs, and we are doing some amazing things, which I'll share with you later. Governors, I encourage all of you to take a look at our accomplishments together in a summary that was provided to you before this meeting. But today we are here to focus on workforce development. Before I was governor of the Virgin Islands, I was actually the Commissioner of Labor here in the Virgin Islands. And so workforce development is very important to us. And like Missouri, the Virgin Islands is placing workforce development at the center stage of our recovery. Because as you remember, we're not only recovering from the pandemic, but we're also recovering from 2 Category 5 hurricanes that hit in 2017. And just to show you the impact of that, I mean, 4 years later, we only have 1 hospital in each of our 2 districts, and that 1 hospital in St. Croix still has not been rebuilt. And we are working hard trying to get the temporary hospital open. So it's a great challenge in doing this. And as some of you know, when you have a disaster, you have a migration of the most talented people out of your center state or territory, in our case, looking for opportunities other places until the economy where they're used to rebound. However, a lot of that talent never comes back. So we're doing things in order to power the economy and the workforce. Like Governor Parsons, we do believe in early childhood, and we have a program from the cradle to the grave, pure education. And one of the key things that we did in terms of supporting this education and workforce drive was to create a free tuition scholarship to the university for all students that graduate from Virgin Islands high schools, whether public, private, or parochial. In that program, we have been able, the most successful thing about it is we have cut the amount of people going to the mainland dramatically. So now, whereas before maybe 25% of our graduates would attend our university, now 75% of our graduating classes from our public high school are taking advantage of our free tuition. This is part of our goal to make our tuition, to make our percentage of college graduates in the Virgin Islands move from 17% to 29%, as it is on the mainland. And that whole push is we don't want anyone who can be able to do college work not to be able to attend because of a tuition impediment. Last year, we also put $1 million in scholarships for every single student who graduated from a high school in the Virgin Islands was eligible for $1,000 if they were headed to trade school or to college, no matter where they were. We extended that this year to all of the graduates this year, as well as the graduates from last year, trying to compensate for that tremendous loss of work and cash during the coronavirus pandemic. Our Department of Labor here has been established as a state registered apprenticeship agency and held the first workforce summit across focused on the development of apprenticeships in the USVI, in-demand industry and occupation. Currently, we have 3 sponsors covering 6 occupations for apprenticeship. We think this is so important because the main thing with whether they're students coming out of college or high school, not having the experience to be able to be secure that dream job that they want, this gives them a leg up in terms of trying to do that. We've also started a state-run program where we're taking college graduates and we're giving them a year of an apprenticeship, essentially an apprenticeship with a commissioner. Those students would be able to go to board meetings, attend policy agendas, go to the legislature and testify, giving them an assistant role, also helping them to broaden their experience and be able to get valuable input for their resumes. We also have, as a result of the hurricanes, we have about $2 billion of community development block grant disaster recovery funds. $10 million of those funds we took out for a Skills for Today initiative to build capacity in our disaster recovery related jobs. We recently got a report that was sponsored by FEMA, it was sponsored and done by RAND, where they were reporting that we need 5,000 new jobs in order to compensate and have enough workforce in order to build us back to recovery. That is essentially 10% of our entire existing workforce that we would have to increase in order to be able to rebuild with the recovery monies we have. So that takes about 500 people and allows them to go out and actually pay to train in demand jobs such as carpentry, electrical, plumbing, construction management, and so forth. Some of that money is also centered at our tourism product, which like most of the states, we're having problems getting people back to work. As we move through the pandemic, we were especially blessed because we were able to secure much of the traffic for the Caribbean tourists that was diverted from places like Jamaica, St. Lucia, St. Martin, as we have been able to handle our pandemic. So our airlift has increased dramatically 200-300%, and we're full of tourists every day. Even in July, we're still competing, trying to find people to work in our restaurants and our hotels because we don't have an off season. We're booked solid through October. I want to take that opportunity to extend an invitation to all my governors to visit at any time. We'll find space for you. We have also developed a holistic workforce plan to invest $12 million across 2 years to develop workforce development infrastructure programs and services. We're completely revamping our trade training center, career and tech here on the islands of St. Thomas. We have also started up Granny Pre-K, which is pre-kindergarten programs in our public high schools. We are started with 2 classrooms and we have hopes of expanding that across all our schools. With this extra money that we got from the American Recovery Plan, we think this is one of the key components of what we can do to that. We certainly have a problem recruiting teachers as we are a remote location, and it is quite expensive to be here. Through the CARES Act, we were able to give every single student in the Virgin Islands a laptop and access to the internet, which is one of my dreams from 10, 15 years ago. Good COVID, bad COVID. We were able to do this and be able to arm students now who have this. We have another project where we're trying to get 5 megabit bandwidth into every public arena neighborhood that we have for free. So if you go to the beach, parks, downtown areas, libraries, public housing communities, students would be able to access 5 megabits of free service. We're also expanding our broadband network. The government owns the largest pipeline in the Virgin Islands, Virgin Islands Next Generation Network, which has a fiber ring around 3 islands and also connects to one of the largest bandwidth access in the country that connect. We have the fiber links that connect North and South America. They land in St. Croix and carry that traffic back and forth. So we're capitalizing on that by really promoting broadband where we live and trying to make sure that everybody has the access they need, not only to create jobs and workers in the Virgin Islands, but certainly to make sure that they have entrepreneurship opportunities. When we look at that, we look regionally out to our fellow Caribbean islands. They've been having quite a time managing COVID and being able to survive with this downturn in tourism. How can we use this bandwidth to give them more access, allow for trade, and allow for the Virgin Islands to become a center of technological excellence in the Caribbean? In a few minutes, you will hear from some of you. We will hear from some of you about your workforce innovation and what are you doing and how you're incentivizing it throughout each states. So today, Governor Parson and myself and the entire NGA are pleased to release the governor's principles to renew the federal workforce system. As Congress begins reauthorization of the federal workforce programs, governors have worked over the past few weeks to lay out a vision for how these programs can better support workers in partnership with employers. These principles place workers at the center of federal, state, territories, and local workforce systems. We encourage Congress to support public-private partnerships to allow for upskilling of employees and learn and earn opportunities as we have in the Virgin Islands. The principles acknowledge that those receiving workforce training and starting a job need other supports like high-quality childcare, which is huge over the pandemic, food assistance, which we've been able to help with the pandemic EBT, affordable housing, which is a crisis in most places with skyrocketing inflation, the economy doing well has been hard, and then career coaching, perhaps most important, having that support, whether it's artificially supplied by us or in the home, in the family, in the community, to help those young people stay focused and stay integrated. Governors also called for a dramatic increase in governors' workforce set aside to allow for more states and territories and local innovation encumbered by bureaucracy. We updated these principles now because Congress is beginning reauthorizations of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, also known as WIOA, which freed up a lot of stuff in the last reauthorization, but it always could use improvement. Today, Governor Parson and I will transmit these principles on behalf of the NGA to Congress with a letter asking congressional leaders to consult governors throughout WIOA authorization. Given that we are the national administrators for workforce development in each state and territory. In the coming days and weeks, we will be calling on governors to encourage through the NGA with Congress and the Biden administration to ensure that the reauthorization of WIOA to ensure for that the next version of this laws allows for more flexibility, more care for workers, partnerships with businesses, and tools for real innovation.